This is The Gorge, a podcast where the schedule is made up and the talking points don't matter.
Oh, the talking points don't matter. That's so good.
It is a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a topic. And what are we talking about this week?
This week and this month is... Wow, we're like 2 weeks into the month already, but whatever, it's fine. Hey, this month is Big Spooky Month, and so we're going to talk about big spooky things. And to start it off, we played something that wasn't spooky at all, but was a lot of fun, because we're talking about the Resident Evil 7 DLC. It's kind of one of those things we never really got around to doing until lately, just because of, scheduling issues, and it's for the PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One. We're going to start with Not a Hero, and then we're going to talk about End of Zoe.
Yes!
Yeah, we are.
So...
Not a Hero.
Not a Hero was interesting because, okay, so Not a Hero is the DLC where you play as Chris, and it follows immediately after RE7.
It follows the Umbrella Corporation's terrible clone of Chris Redfield. A poor imitation of that boulder of a man. That boulder puncher of a man.
The imitation crab of Chris Redfield. Immediately, immediately after RE7, where it's because RE7 ends with Chris being like, all right, well, I have to go kill Lucas now. Go get on the helicopter. I'm gonna go kill Lucas.
Yeah, this plot is gonna keep going, baby.
So it is very interesting comparing, Chris's evolution as a character, because he started in RE1. In RE1, he was a survival horror guy. He was a horror man. He was trapped in a spooky mansion. And then RE5 rolls around, and Chris is a big, early aughts action military man.
Yeah.
We
haven't played 6.
No, but I'm assuming he's still kind of the big action man in that. And then in this one, he really toned down the action man.
They definitely toned down the action man, real hardcore. He's still Spec Ops, running around with a cool shotgun and a cool helmet and stuff. But he's not nearly like the Chris Redfield we know, and the Chris Redfield that helps Leon Kennedy shoot zombies in the most ridiculous hallway fight ever.
Yeah, it's it's kind of interesting because one of the big things we talked about for RE7 is that the game is this really big cool return to the beginnings with the franchise, where it was rooted in survival horror, and they amping up the horror aspect of the franchise with 7.
Right.
We both had a lot of praise for that aspect, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Back to the roots of just you are in a house, there's a bunch of crazy shit happening, and it's legitimately terrifying. And I kind of, but on that note, I kind of feel it's kind of a disappointment to see Chris get reduced in that way.
Yeah.
Because I as much as I thought the return to horror is a cool thing, I like Chris being a big dumb action man.
Yeah, I don't know, it just kind of, with the progression, it's kind of if you're gonna do the thing with RE7 where it's back to being you're a helpless idiot and there's some shit trying to kill you, and it's really scary, and you can't do a lot versus that shit that's trying to kill you. If you're gonna do that, that's totally cool, but don't bring back the original cast.
Yeah, the cool thing about 7 was that it wasn't Leon, it wasn't Claire, it wasn't Jill, it wasn't Chris, it was this whole new guy who has no experience with this, so if you are going to bring back the guy, one of the four, it's one of the things I want to note is that they mentioned in Not a Hero, they mentioned well, we had to get one of the we got Chris because Chris is an expert in dealing with bioweapons, and it's there's 4 people on the whole planet who you can throw at a bioweapon and they'll come out alive.
Yeah, and they'll be totally cool.
Yeah, and it's Leon Kennedy, it's Chris and Claire Redfield, and it's Jill Valentine.
Yeah, that's it. All of them are more than experienced enough. But I did like that. They're like, well, this is some real shit, so let's throw one of them at it. And, like, playing as I don't know. I liked Not a Hero, I guess. It was fine. It was free, so how mad can I be about it, right?
Right.
But it's like, if you're gonna let me play as, like, a shooterman, then you need to give me a move set like a shooter guy.
So one of the things I kind of realized is this is both for both Not a Hero and a Zoe is that they're basically victory laps.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm also eating a granola bar. Sorry, not very professional, but whatever. They are victory laps, but like Chris's doesn't feel as complete of a victory lap.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about End of Zoe when we get to it. But I feel like if you wanted to make Chris's into a real-ass victory lap, you would have made him faster. Like, I'm sorry. I can't get over how slow he is in this game. Like, when you're playing as a Spec Ops guy, like, you're playing as Ethan Winters or whatever, and he is just, like, Joe Schmo, sad about his not-dead wife, and he's wearing his fucking loafers to the bayou. Like, yeah, he's gonna walk at a snail's pace because he doesn't know what's going on. But then you put me in Chris's shoes, and Chris is like, these are just shitty goo monsters, man. There's really nothing in RE7 that's gonna scare Chris Redfield, you know? Like,
yeah.
The Molded are the worst possible Resident Evil. I like RE7 a lot, but the Molded suck. And Chris should be able to take a look at them and be like, oh, this is bad. I'm not scared. They have, like, goofy slasher smiles. They look like cartoon characters. Nobody's afraid of the Molded unless they sneak up on you. And so, like, he should not have a hard time dealing with the Molded, but he moves at approximately the speed of, like, molasses going uphill in January. You know what I mean? Like, slow. Like, pick it up, buddy. We got places to go. I guess it's like, if they moved him any faster, the DLC would be shorter.
It's just like, it's like a weird, backtracking, because, like, so after RE4, you know, they kind of stopped doing classic Resident Evil, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of showed this progression of not just, like, the engine and of the franchise, but, like, of the characters. Like, Leon is now doing cool kung fu stuff and you know, and weird backflip kicks and stuff. And then Chris is doing these fucking haymakers and boot stomps.
And gun kata shit.
Yeah.
Like that one thing in the movie that is so dumb. Oh, God. Dumb.
It's just like after RE5 kind of establishes like how Chris has grown as like a person.
Yeah.
And it's like going like you can't really roll that back without it feeling weird, you know? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, you were the one playing, but I could still feel like the instincts. I've been playing RE4 a lot, so I've been feeling the instincts of like, okay, get up in there, knock them, you know, stun them, and then give the big haymaker punch to knock them out, you know?
Yeah.
And like you don't have the speed to get up close that often.
No, that's the part that sucks. Is it's like they say, you know, shoot them and then haymaker them. Well, that's cool and it feels good to do it, but when you shoot them, there's a recoil and they kind of recoil a little too far away for me to get up in there like quickly, like. And because Chris is so slow, I can't close that gap in an effective, efficient way. And so I'm just like, I don't know, it just feels really unnatural. It's RE7's move system bolted onto somebody who doesn't belong in RE7's move system.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, you know, especially because, like, okay, so the cool thing is that, like, admittedly, you do get a bunch of cool Lucas stuff, and I kind of wish Lucas wasn't killed off because...
Oh my god, I know, right?
Redneck Jigsaw is, like, an awesome villain. I want, like, a game where it's, like... Yeah, Lucas escapes, and then he finds an old umbrella facility.
Yeah.
And he fucking booby traps the hell out of it, and you gotta get in there, and you gotta, like, defuse all... Lucas is, like, the perfect way to do dumb RE puzzle bullshit. Like, put the skeleton key in the
God,
skeleton
you're
lock.
so right. You actually could have an entire game based around old RE2 puzzle bullshit just because Lucas is a crazy person who loves that crap.
Yeah.
You know?
So obviously the Lucas stuff we do get is really cool because he's also such a fun villain. He's constantly harassing you.
He calls you Christopher, and it feels like the weirdest thing in the universe.
I recoiled more from having them call him Christopher than I did the entirety of RE7. I was
Christopher Redfield is horrible.
I was like, absolutely. That's like being like, aha, it's my old friend Leonard Scott Kennedy.
Leonard Scott Kennedy writes novels in 1916. You know what I mean?
Yes, Jillian Valentine.
Oh,
no,
that's horrible. No, I hate it. You're right. Oh,
Adeline Wong. No,
it's so bad. Don't do it. It's bad. Christopher, he's just like Christopher, and you just excuse the shit out of me. What did you just call me? I would have preferred you insult. I know. I was like mad. I'm like, I would prefer you insult me than call me Christopher. How dare you? His name is Chris.
Yeah, right? I mean it's Chris. Okay.
I refuse to even believe that Christopher is on his birth certificate. Like, he was born a Chris. Okay, like that man came out the womb, and they looked at him, and they were like, "That's a Chris. His name is not Christopher. Chris. Come on."
That's like calling it like Captain America, like Steven Rogers. Like, no,
no, his name is Steve. Sorry,
but yeah, so but like so you get that boss fight, you get his mutated form, and it's like, oh shit, this is the fucking classic RE boss. This is the what was your plan, sir, boss?
What was your plan? The best friends were talking about that today because they finished DMC3 and they were saying, like, what, in regards to Arkham, what was your plan, buddy? You are now a giant goo monster. You can't go be like, I'm going to take over the world because you're a goo monster. What was your plan, Lucas?
Yeah. So Lucas, but it's like, it's funny because, like, I've seen RE5 being played. Like, I know, and I'm playing RE4, and, like, I know how the bosses work in that kind of era of the game, which is, you shoot his weak spot, and eventually he kind of goes, blah, and he falls over, and then, like, an eye stalk or, like, a bug pops out, and you got to get in there, and you got to whack at it with your knife. Mm-hmm. You got to mash the X button to slash at the thingy. Mm-hmm. And, like, so, like, when we were doing the boss fight, I was waiting for, like, his eye stalk to pop out.
Right.
And it didn't. And I was like, oh, this is not the big action man. That's right.
Because, I mean, for the record, I do think he had, like, those bulbs on his body that you could shoot for, like, more damage, but it's not the same,
Yeah, it's not that you're staggered the boss, so get in there and do the melee thing, or, like, oh, his head's exposed. Chris, get in there and fucking aura his head.
Right. Right.
So, as cool as Not a Hero was, like, it's just weird to see Chris, like, kind of degraded.
Yeah, he's not. I don't know. It's just such a strange. You can't really walk back the reality of Resident Evil, mostly because it's been around for like 20 years now. Mm-hmm. You can't really walk back the action movie nature of Resident Evil and be like, no, we're actually going more grounded now. Not with those characters. You can with new characters. Yeah. And be like, oh, well, Chris and all his friends are off having action movie adventures. Now here's some new people, Like, you just kind of can't, because it feels unnatural.
Yeah, sorry. That's the irony, is that it feels unnatural, because it's, like, totally realistic now. It's like Chris, Claire, Jill, and Leon exist in action movie verse, right?
Right.
Like, so you can't not do dumb bullshit with them anymore. Like, right. Yeah, you can make Leon be, like, a depressed alcoholic, but he's going to be a depressed alcoholic that does John Wick shit in a
hallway.
In a tunnel.
Yeah.
Like literal John Wick stuff. Like, it actually has, like, a name, like Close Range Armament, like CRA or something. Like, it's a legitimate, like, like the way he at least the way he holds his gun close to his chest like that is a legitimate, like, practice for, like, narrow areas like that, but like
right.
He's doing fucking spins and like slides and stuff,
yeah,
and it's like
he's a depressed alcoholic, but he's a cool depressed alcoholic. Okay, that's important for you to understand, Capcom.
Yeah. I mean, Chris punched a volcano boulder.
Yes, he did. You can't walk it back, guys.
And Jill does kung fu acrobat matrix shit.
Super soldier, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's why Ethan was great, is because Ethan is just a new guy who can be like normal man in a bad place.
Right.
You can't put Chris in that same engine,
Yeah, and it's kind of like, the weird thing is that, like, okay, we're gonna play Chris as like a Black Ops shooty bangs hero instead of like crazy dumb action movie hero. That's fine, but if you're gonna do that, I've played a Call of Duty, I have played a Battlefield, I've played all those dumb shooter bang games, and they all have more robust move sets than that. It's like, you didn't do either of them right. You didn't, because it's like, if it's a horror game, then Chris is out of place, but he's so slow and the controls are still kind of sluggish to respond, which is by design. I mean, that's the way the game is made, because again, scary video game. But he's so sluggish to respond that he doesn't work as a first-person shooter protagonist either. Like, neither really work that well.
It's one of those things where they didn't go far enough in either direction. Like, if the game was like, okay, because you spend the whole game in that mine shaft, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if it was like, Chris is like, all right, I'm gonna go down in the mine shaft, and he's like, as he's sliding down, his rope gets cut and he falls and his leg gets twisted. He's like, shit, then it's like, okay, well, that's one thing. That explains why he's kind of slow and he can't do his RE5 shit anymore. Mm-hmm. That would be one thing. But, like, also the fact that, like, he's a lot skinnier, which is a weird...
Yeah, he's not as buff. He's just not as buff. And he looks, like, way older. And I know he's, like, probably older now.
Well, but I think RE5 was like 2006. It was set in 2006, and like RE7 is set in like 2017. So yeah, it's been like 11 years or so.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. Chris was a fit dude. It's just not, it just doesn't really work, guys. I mean, I know you love your face scanning technology, and it looks great for Devil May Cry 5, but it's obvious that RE7 was the testing ground for that. Like, boy, was it aggressively that, like, in retrospect, you think about it, and you're like, boy, RE7 was the testing ground for that shit. Because it has been, when Devil May Cry 5 and remake come out, like Resumake come out, it'll have been like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it already looks astronomically better than RE7's faces.
Well, if you think about it, why do you think everyone that you saw in RE7 was like a mutated monster face?
It's so true.
Yeah. Even Mia was like, would turn into a gargoyle lady.
And they kept her dirty when she wasn't a gargoyle lady, so you couldn't notice the kind of weird potato quality of everybody's faces. Like, yeah,
like her and Mia were like very tired and obviously had no time to like wash their face at any point in months.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everyone else was a gross slime person.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, too. When we get to End of Zoe, because, oh boy. Yeah. And it works for, like, Lucas, because he's, like, creepy and gross. Mm-hmm. He's not, like, a gross slime man, but he's gross. And, boy, it just didn't work out for Chris.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you only see Chris for, like, 2 seconds in the game.
But it's just, but we've known Chris Redfield for a real long time now, guys.
We know his business.
We kind of have a general profile of him at this point. So, actually, you sent me the John Wick scene from the Resident Evil movie. And I was like, yeah, Leon is cool, but the other thing I noticed was that, like, Chris is still, like, a cool, like, badass, super hot special ops guy. And I'm like, yeah. And then you get to Resident Evil 7 and you're like, no. No.
It's not quite the same. Like,
yeah.
What they really should have done is, for one thing, give you an assault rifle. As well as your shotgun and pistol, you know?
Your shotgun with its terrible, terrible sound effect.
Yeah. Great kickback on that thing, but yeah, it did not sound like a good shotgun.
It was just like a poof noise.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a shotty. I've been playing Devil May Cry for like the last 2 months. That's a shotty, guys. So, yeah.
They should have given you an assault rifle. And they should have made it into a fucking shooting gallery.
Yes, absolutely. It was just not the combination of you're still pretty helpless in Not a Hero for large chunks of it. I don't know. It just didn't work. If I had just not been playing as Chris.
Yeah, if you were playing as just BSAA man.
Yeah, some new guy. You know.
Yeah. Then it'd be like, oh, well, yeah, this guy doesn't know how to deal with a bioweapon, but Chris fucking eats bioweapons for breakfast.
Go ahead.
He killed an entire African country, okay? He's pretty good at this right now. And they were goo monsters!
They were goo monsters, and they were better goo monsters than what's in RE7. And it's like, I do like that, like, at no point was he ever actually afraid of Lucas. You know?
Oh yeah, no, he was just annoyed as fucking hell.
I think at one point he's just like, what did he say? He's like, if you're gonna kill me, then kill me, but stop fucking talking.
Yeah, it was weird to hear Chris Redfield say, "Shut the fuck up."
Chris Redfield doesn't say swears. He's a good boy. How dare you?
He's an all-American soldier.
he's Captain America. He doesn't say bad words.
Yeah, but it was just like...
Yeah. Oh my god. But I mean, we've been ripping on this for like 20 minutes now, but the funny thing is, I still kind of liked it.
I mean, it was still a really good piece of DLC. Like, it was fun to play, and like, yeah, even if it wasn't like what we really wanted, like, it was still a victory lap. You were still pretty tough, and like...
You were still pretty unstoppable. I wish maybe if even if it hadn't been an assault rifle, if I had just had more ammo... It would have been a perfectly fine victory lap. If
they had, like, removed, like, the ammo scarcity thing and just, like, hey, here's a fucking ton of ammo.
Yeah, have fun. Here's tons of enemies and, like, an equal amount of ammo for each one of them. Yeah, that would have been great, you know?
Like getting the ramrod rounds and, like, popping white molded and just watching it, like, melt is like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah, now give me more of that, please.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more of that. But I liked the slight puzzle garbage. I liked the whole, you know, trying to figure out the steps. It felt very Resident Evil, you know, It was very much like, here's your hub area, and here's where you go to go do all of your adventuring and stuff. That felt very Resident Evil.
Well, we also had that one bit where it's like, wait, I don't get, why can't he open the door? Why can't, what does he mean? Like, because Chris is like, there must be something there. We're like, we're trying to get him to press the elevator, but we're like, why the fuck can't he press the elevator button? And we realized that, like,
because we were huge cowards when we played RE7.
Yeah.
We had the brightness up at one point because we are huge cowards. And also, in my defense, I am super blind. So we had the brightness like way up in RE7. So like what should have been a pitch black like hallway, I could see perfectly fine in. And so I like navigate this whole, and it's supposed to be like full of traps and shit. And I'm like, oh, those floor tiles, we gotta avoid those. And we make it all the way to the end of the thing, and it's like, why can't, he's like, there's something there. I'm like, yeah, there's a button, it's right there, buddy. And then we adjusted the darkness, and we were like, oh,
we're not supposed to. And then, well, we also, you kept getting blown up by something. We're like, what the fuck is hitting us? What are we bumping into? Like, the tiles are all the way over there. Mm-hmm. So we get the night vision goggles, we go back, and there's like one lone grenade dangling that the night vision goggles just like light up for you. We're like, oh.
Oh no, we're idiots. Oh no. Yeah, tragically we are idiots. So, and I'm bad at video games, so it's fine. God.
But no, it was cool, like, you know, doing some minor, like, puzzle, you know, kind of going it through one area until we can't, then going to another area until we get a thing, and going back to another area, and, like, kind of, like, making a bit of progress each time was a really cool idea.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I wanted more. Or I wanted something else. It just needed, like, another kind of aspect to it. Either make it a shooting gallery or make it longer, or do something.
Give, like, another cool gun, or, like, you know, because then you can give us more enemies to kill, make the Lucas boss fight a little bit more of, like, a back and forth thing, like, you know, give us a, I mean, we're all loath to say it, but, like, fucking give us a QuickTime thing.
Yeah, that's Chris Redfield. We all know what Chris Redfield is about. You press left trigger and he punches a boulder. Come on, guys. That's kind of what he's about. It's fine. So, but yeah, I mean, it was free. Ultimately, that's the thing. Is that it was free, so I can't even bitch about it that much. It was a nice little wrap up. I wish Lucas had survived. That was the most important part. I wish he had survived just so he could be a villain in RE8. Yeah,
I also think, like, the kind of the lore we get about Blue Umbrella is kind of interesting. That was, you know,
cool.
They get
and the organization or whatever they were called.
Yeah, what were they called? Like
they were called the organization, something like that. Like a generic term.
Yeah, the collective or something like that.
Collective, I think. Yeah, that might have been it.
But it was cool because I found out the voice in your radio name is Veronica.
Oh, okay.
And like I like when she was like, you know, we kept the Umbrella name because we want to really make amends for what the old Umbrella did, so we're keeping that name so people know that it's us trying to fix the problems. And I'm like, boy, you're really gonna take that PR hit, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess if you're just a private military company, you can just kind of do that. I mean, you know, you'll still get hired probably. So
yeah, I just think, like, I kind of think it's interesting that, like, you know, one of the things I really like, I think I might have mentioned this in the RE7 episode, but I love that RE games take place at set points in history. Yeah,
it has a very a set timeline. That shit's set in stone. You don't get to change it.
Like, you know, the RE2 make is still set in 1998.
Yeah,
and you're gonna see old big computer monitors and, like, you know,
so cool.
like no cell phones or anything like that. Like it's gonna be set in they're not gonna update it at all. Like, I think that's really cool. So I like that, like, you know, so much time has passed that, like, yeah, RE5, you beat Umbrella. You killed Wesker.
Yeah, it's neat to watch the timeline show the progression of, like, a world, like, in a really concrete way. You can actually, like, follow it, like following the news. You can see how this thing happened and it led to this. And so you have a very set in stone timeline of what happened. And you have, like, a sense of, like, an actual alternate reality, kind of alternate timeline thing. And I really, really like that about Resident Evil. And so that was, like, the really cool aspect of Not a Hero was that concept of getting to see more and being like, oh, this is kind of like a whole, like, it's RE7 was not a bottle episode. It still does have, like, effects on, like, the rest of the Resident Evil world, you know?
Yeah. It wasn't, you know, it's not just a side story. Like, this is the next chapter in the saga kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's still the collective and the Blue Umbrella. Like, that's what we kind of focus on now. And hopefully Capcom will keep hiring external writers to write their plots, because that's why Resident Evil 7's plot is worth a damn. So let's just keep doing that, and we don't have to deal with any more RE6s. Yikes. So hey, is that it?
So, speaking of fucking action schlock punching things in the face as hard as you want,
it's the dumbest it's ever been in End of Zoe, and I fucking love it. Oh my god.
Are you ready for Grandpa Swamp's boxing fun time adventures?
Dante wishes he was as cool as Joe Baker. Dante has a poster of Joe Baker on the wall in the office.
I cannot. The entire time we're going, so like, fucking... Oh, my end of Zoe is like, you haven't seen fucking, like, all of the Ari schlock that fucking Leon and Chris do in their respective games, but it's everything in End of
constant. Zoe. I don't think we've ever played a game where we spend so much time going, yo! We spent the whole... How long did it take us? Like 5 hours? 4 to 5 hours?
It was like, 3.5 to 4.5 hours, probably, yeah.
We spent the entire time going, oh my god!
Well, it's great because the first thing you realize is like, oh shit, Joe doesn't get a knife. He's just got his fist. That's kind of interesting. And then you get to the first molded, and he's like, come on, fucker. And you just...
Let's fucking wrestle. And you're like, excuse me?
And it's like, okay, well, he's gonna do like a fucking, like a Chris, right, left. And then he just starts doing like speed bag punches and like...
An uppercut. You can do an uppercut. No big deal.
And the molded, it's the fucking funniest because the molded will get thrown, their heads will get thrown back, God. And they'll snap right back into place for round 2.
Like a boxing dummy. It is incredible. Like, oh my god. And just like, because I thought, okay, we've only got our fists, fine. We're gonna be playing like a sneaky, shooty kind of like, like we're really gonna have to be sneaky with how we're playing to stay alive, because Joe is a survivalist, and that's how he goes, and maybe we'll get a knife later, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No. Fuck you. Box that molded. No. Fuck you.
It's just fists. It's always fists.
Square up. Motherfucker, square up.
And then you do get stealth takedowns, and they're the fucking rawest takedowns you can imagine.
He takes a molded's head, and he turns it completely backwards, and then shatters it in his giant manly hands. Are you kidding me? What did we do? What did we do to deserve this, Capcom? Is it because we bought RE7? Thank you so much.
And then it's like, oh, you get your only projectile is these spears, and it's like, okay, well, all right, you get something at least for like things. Fucking, and then it's like, watch out for the infected alligators, and you're like, excuse me? And then it's like,
pardon me.
It's like, okay, well, we're gonna use the things to kind of slow the alligators down. No, Joe just fucking takes these spears and he throws it in and kills an alligator in one hit.
Oh my god. Amazing. Just tremendous. Literally every single time something new happens in this DLC, you're going like, holy fuck. Like, it's constant. You never really feel like there's only like one time you feel like you're ever on the ropes or you're like actually kind of scared. And that's it. The rest of the time is just like, here, kill some molded, box these motherfuckers, throw spears at them, use skake bombs on them, kill all the molded, do it now. And it's amazing.
And, I mean, like, fucking talking about, like, just the dumbest video game shit, fucking Zoe turning into a Final Fantasy character.
She's just Shiva. She is just Shiva. She caught everybody else in the Baker family turned into a horrible, gross slime monster, and Zoe caught the anime. Okay, yeah. I don't know how else to describe it other than she got the anime disease.
She gets these like crystal white petals, and like her skin turns like
white, like this her hair turns white.
Yeah, this glittery, like, shining thing, and it's like she gets like a white flower dress, and it's like, this is a fucking Yoko Taro character.
This is a Yoko Taro character. This is a summon in Final Fantasy.
She even has like flowers over one of her eyes. Like,
oh my god, she does! Like Zero! Oh my god! It is a Yoko Taro character. That's all it is. And like, shut up. It is so, like, every single instance of this DLC is fucking bonkers. Because we haven't even talked about Swamp Man.
Oh, fucking...
Swamp Man is the best.
I mean, but it's like, before that, you get like, okay, well, here's the mold with the big fucking claw arms, and here's one with 2 claw arms. Remember how much trouble they gave you? No, punch them.
No, punch them.
Punch them in the head.
Punch them in the head, and then stomp their dicks off. Do it now. Do it because you're Joe Baker and you're a god. You're unstoppable. You're a character action game guy in a fucking Resident Evil game, and you cannot be killed ever.
You're an unstoppable swamp man who eats bugs for health.
You take this crawfish and you take this chemical and you smash it together and you somehow get a fucking med kit. Sure. Cool. Absolutely. Let's go for it. It's amazing. It's incredible. It's like art. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It's like the ultimate. It is the ultimate victory lap.
It is incredible how good every second of that game feels.
Every bit of like cathartic. Like, how many times the molded pinned you down and killed you in base game? Like, how many times did they kill Ethan? How many times you're like, oh fuck, I can't fight him. I gotta back up and find a bullet somewhere. Hopefully.
Right. Yeah.
No, fucking murder all of them.
Kill all of them. Punch them to death with your giant manly fists and stomp their heads in. You see that little skittery bullshit molded that everybody hates? It walks on all fours? Step on it and put a hole through its back.
His fucking take, like his stealth takedown for like the crawling ones where he stomps on their back until they're pinned down.
And then stomps on its head is incredible. Yeah. Shut up. It's so good. He's so cool.
Alright, but like we gotta fucking talk about Swamp Man. We gotta
talk about Evil Virgil? Yeah.
We gotta talk about Virgil and how like so
this fucking rival fight.
You get to the thing where you're on the boat.
Right.
And like you're you see Swamp Man, you're like, okay, it's gonna be the really big, like burly, like tough mold, and you're gonna have to fight him. And it's like, okay, well, we got like a few times we went up against him, and he's like, oh man, look, he's doing cool wrestling moves. He's like trying to grapple you, and then he taunts.
He taunted us, and I had to pause the game. I had to actually pause the game because I was losing my mind. Like, this guy, you get in the arena, because, like, the first time you run into Swamp Man, he's just kind of out in the open, like, as an enemy. He doesn't get, like, a big introduction. He's just a guy. And you shoot him, and you run away from him, and you think, like, oh, I did kill him. And then you look, and, oh, he got up and walked off. Fine. Then you run into him again on the boat, and he is like, oh, we're gonna fight in a fucking arena. And he is going to taunt me and, like, do power bombs and elbow drops and like, try to do, like, a haymaker and things like that. And I'm just like, is this really happening?
It's like, because you realize, like, oh shit, he's sentient. He's, like, there's a brain in there.
There's a brain in there, and that brain wants to wrestle.
He is into the, like, he wants to wrestle, like, straight up wrestle you. Like, that's what he wants.
Because he's a redneck in 2017 who's watched a lot of wrestling on TV with his brother, and he wants to do cool wrestling moves with Joe. Like, are you kidding me? And then you punch him enough to stun him, and you suplex Swamp Man.
You pick him up and you just throw it.
And that I swear to God, Ben, a single tear rolled down my face, just rolled down my cheek, and it sparkled in the light, and I was like, this is it. I've found Resident Evil Nirvana. They did it.
And, like, the best thing between the two of us is that, like, to solidify it as the fucking Virgil rival fight, you unlocked easy mode against him!
Shut up! No! Shut up! How dare you bring that up on the podcast? Shut up! No! It didn't happen!
No, but it was the hype. It's Joe are both like, holy shit, this guy's Virgil.
This guy is Virgil. B is for brother. I've unlocked easy mode for you. No! Holy shit. No! I've never been more ashamed in my life. And it was amazing.
I've never been more fucking hyped until that.
Oh
like,
my
holy
God.
shit.
Amazing. Just every second of it, you're just... I thought I was gonna die because I was laughing so hard from how cool it was. Like, how stupid it is, but how cool it is. And it just rules. It just ruled so hard.
Like, every little thing that it does is, like, the fucking hypest, raddest shit. Because then later on, he fucking does a man pulp novel cover.
Oh my God, yes.
Where he's carrying off the hot chick in the skimpy dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Cradling her in his arms, and there's the big burly man chasing after him in the swamp. Like,
it's like a fucking Men's Life magazine cover, you know? I had my face not on by Crawfish. It's that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And just... yeah, like, every second of it just feels like the best kind of power fantasy. Like, just the most fun kind of here you go, you spent so many hours in RE7 terrified for your life, and now you get to just take your revenge on the Baker estate, and on and it's amazing. It's amazing.
It just feels so good. Like...
yeah. And then you go to a fucking RE4 Ganados village.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we round the corner, and there is a bunch of, like, little shitty, and they're mausoleums. They're not houses, but from a distance, that's what they looked like. So you see, like, a bunch of what look like shacks and a church on a hill with a big, tall steeple, and I was just like, this is just the Ganados village at the beginning of RE4.
And you and I are both like, oh my God, are we going to get to wrestle him in a church?
Oh, God.
Is Virgil 2 going to be in a church?
No, it was just a little thing. But, you know, it's
but
fine.
like, but it is great when he's like, when Joe's like, oh, this is sacrilegious. And then like...
is nothing sacred or something like that. Yeah,
and then to fucking top off the wrestling thing...
I called it, too. Did I not call it?
You called it, like, what does Swamp Man do? He puts you in a coffin.
He puts you in a coffin after the... because during that scene is the reveal, man.
Yeah.
That's the reveal, where it's like... I mean, we were talking after we got done playing. We did 2 sessions. We did 1 session of Not a Hero. We did 2 sessions of End of Zoe. And after the first session of Not a Hero, we were talking, or not a Hero, the other one, End of Zoe. I was like, dude, that thing is Jack. It's Jack Baker, man, because it's like, I know that one yellow eye. I've seen that yellow eye before. Yeah. I know that yellow eye. That's Jack Baker, because he's trying to get back Zoe. That's his daughter. Mm-hmm. And I fucking called it.
I called it.
Called it super hard, and it was awesome. And so you have, like, I guess that's kind of like the Virgil 2, you have, like, the reveal, and then, like, an actual fucking, like, the Undertaker, he puts you in a coffin and just chucks you into the bayou. Amazing.
It's, and, like, so someone pointed out, like, there's a reveal ahead of time, because there's that bit where he grabs Joe by the head and, like, pulls him back, and that's the same thing that regular Jack did to Ethan.
Oh, shit!
Early in the game, like, he grabs him by the face and he pulls him back.
Oh, man, I didn't even know that. Oh, I didn't even realize. Oh, that's so good. That's good detailing right there, guys. Good for you. Yeah. And then he throws you in a coffin. I was really afraid I was gonna have to escape from that coffin. I was just like, I might throw up. I might actually throw up if I have to escape from a coffin in a first-person game, because, like, I just can't handle it. I'm like, but no, then you do your fucking, your Ganados thing, and, man, you get out of the coffin, and the game tells you sometimes you got, because we come around a corner, and there's a bunch of those dudes, and you lose all your shit after you get out of the coffin, right? You don't have any of your stuff. You come around the corner, you don't have any healing items, you don't have any spears, you don't have any stake bombs, and here in a clearing is, like, 6 of these of the armored kind of molded, And it's like, oh, fuck. And I died because I tried to fight him. I was like, I can take him, I'm an idiot. And then I died, and the game was like, you can run, you know, dumbass. Oh, okay, I guess I'll run like a coward. I'm Joe Baker. Joe Baker runs from no man. But I ran like a coward, and I was rewarded for my cowardice. Well, boy, was I rewarded for my cowardice.
It's also like, because you get the you know, you could, like, the loading screen is like, you can run from certain enemies, and like the art is like, wait a minute, what's that on Joe's hand?
Wait, yes, a damn minute.
What is that? Some kind of like fancy, like, and then we see like the door that's like barred shut. And we both kind of knew what was coming.
And then we round the corner, and there it is. Your fucking Ifrit, your Gilgamesh, your Balrog. Because it's a fucking gauntlet weapon. Like, with a charge attack and everything. Like, we are in fucking Devil May Cry. And my god, it is the dumbest it's ever been. And I love it.
Fucking coolest.
It's the dumbest it has ever been, and I hope it never, ever, ever goes away. Because the AMG, it's the AMG something, right? Yeah,
it's the all
armored something gauntlet.
Yeah,
armored
it's like
mechanical gauntlet,
like the all-purpose mechanical gauntlet or something like that. Like, it's like, it's designed for digging and for like heavy lifting.
No, it's not. It's designed for killing. It's designed for killing. Okay? For killing molded, for killing men, for being a god, for having a fucking charge attack, like,
that talks
and is like, charge complete, and you're like, shut up. Oh my god. It was amazing. It's amazing, yeah.
And then the victory lap gained a victory lap.
The victory lap got victory lappier. Like, because you're just... I love it, too, because they're literally just throwing mooks at you in the old Baker house. Okay? In the same house where I spent half the goddamn game, like, terrified of Marguerite. Here you are. You're just like... I was like... We came out of, like, that one spot, and we climbed up onto the deck, and I looked around, and I was like, I know this place. I know this spot of the house, because I remember it, like, vividly from RE7. Yeah. And it's like, oh, we're in the old house. We've come full circle, baby. We did it. It was amazing.
And then you get to the point where, like, you're walking, because, like, it's like the boathouse where Marguerite, like, you fought Marguerite.
Yeah.
And then you look over on the wall, and it's like, oh my god, we can pick up Marguerite's centipedes for health.
And eat them.
Because Joe's not afraid of them.
God. Yeah, it's like getting revenge. You're literally just... The 2 DLC packs let you get revenge on, like, the whole Baker family for terrorizing you for so long. You get to eat Marguerite's little nasty gremlin skittery things. You kill Lucas as Chris. And then you do your victory lap through the old boathouse. And I still remember we came to that one part where, like, the living room area is caved in. And I remember being, like, just vividly being terrified when we were playing that part as Mia and Ethan, because, like, Marguerite was there, and she was gonna fucking kill us, and now here we are, we're Joe Baker, we punch molded, we're wearing a fucking Devil May Cry gauntlet, and it's like, bring it on. Bring it the fuck on. I will punch every single one of your heads off, because that's what that thing does. It punches their heads off. It's amazing.
It's so fucking cool, and then you get the final boss fight in the foyer.
In the same foyer where you were running from Jack originally! Yeah. Come on! You went full circle!
Where both of us were like, you went into that room in the beginning, we were both fucking terrified because, like, we didn't know how the game works. Like, is Jack just fucking wandering around? There's evil grandma, she's occasionally just kind of watching you, and she's the fucking creepiest thing in the world. Like, what is behind the corner? Who knows? We have nothing right now.
We have no bullets, and bullets wouldn't do anything to Jack anyways, you know, we're helpless and we're scared, and like you said, there's evil grandma, we don't know what we're doing, we don't have enough anything, and you walk in to that foyer with your fucking AMG, and I had like 8 med drinks, med kits, and I had like 10 critters. My damage was boosted by 25% because I'd been picking up boxer and champion effigies the whole time. Like, I was unstoppable, baby. It's amazing.
It was awesome. It was fucking... It was what Not a Hero's fight with Lucas should have been, because you are just this fucking Goliath of a man.
And you're fighting another Goliath of a man.
Who is also doing, like, he gains a fucking, like...
Nemesis form?
Classic Resident Evil, like, weird tentacle arm that he can do, like, sweeps and shit with, and you're like... It's like, the game's like, get in close and get him with your charge attack to knock him back a little bit, and it's like, oh, fuck, you gotta get the charge up, yo! You
build the charge, and while you're charging, Joe is like, you're sidestepping. My only wish in this whole fight, because, like, you saw, I had a hard time with it, because it's not easy, and I'm bad at video games, is that I wish Joe had like a true sidestep,
Mm-hmm. Like a quick step.
Like a quick step, because, I mean, if you're gonna go the boxing route, then give me a quick step, because otherwise Joe is a little, like, Jack is a little too fast, and Joe is just a little too slow. Joe's a little too slow, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, Joe is a little too slow, so sometimes it feels like I could not, again, like with Chris, I just couldn't close the gap between us fast enough. Mm-hmm. And also because I felt like sometimes I just wasn't doing damage to him. I feel like they could have given me a better feedback to let me know when I was actually doing damage. Yeah, like a goo explosion, or just like, because the really bad thing is that, like, whether you hit or miss with the gauntlet, like, it still makes a crashing noise, right? You know? Exactly. It should have just been like you only get that feedback noise when you make contact. Or like a different colored goo explosion, because I know he's like exploding goo constantly, but if it had been like yellow or like a different color, that would have been an easy indicator of like, hey, it's working, Yeah, you are actually doing damage. Because, like, when you box the molded, you see chunks fly off of them, and like there's like red exposed underneath. Yeah. And I guess that could be there for Jack, but his design is so busy. Like, the Swamp Man design is so busy that it's hard to tell. Yeah. That was really my two complaints, is that I feel like you're not... to do that fight, like, really efficiently and really well, I feel like you're not fast enough, and I feel like I wasn't getting enough feedback on that fight. But otherwise, fuck, that thing was great. It was a fucking awesome fight. Like, you are like... It's just, it feels so fucking good to be that strong. You are so strong, and the cool thing is that you've been, like, owning Molded ever since you get the AMG. You're just, like, blast him away, you get all your shit back, and then Jack is just that much stronger. Like, it is Virgil 3. He is just as strong as you, and he's waiting. And it was so awesome. And to cap it all off, when you kill Jack, how about that last hit? Oh my... the slow motion! The eyeball? His eyeball flies out and you fucking destroy his skull. Oh my god! It's amazing! You hit him so hard and his eyeball flies off in one direction and his head explodes, and it's just good and gory, and it's so satisfying because, like, now... For fucking real, Jack Baker is finally dead. That is one resilient motherfucker. How did we not get Jack in Marvel? I want Joe in Marvel. I want Joe in Marvel. I want both of them in Marvel. What are we talking about? It's Marvel versus Capcom. You can put them both in. Virgil and Dante are in Marvel, so why not? I want to make a team that's fucking Nathan Spencer, Bucky Barnes, and Joe Baker, and get the fucking Bionic Arm Squad. Yeah! Oh man, that'd be so cool. Oh my god, yes please. Yeah! Absolutely! It's just amazing because, like, fucking Ethan could not have killed Joe in that state. No! Like, the best part is that, like, the fucking game opens and it's like, the BSA agents that are, like, trying to get Zoe are, like, trapped in a horror film, and the monster is Joe Baker. Yeah. So good. Joe, and it's just, like, I really was expecting a completely different thing. I know everybody was saying, like, when we started, you were like, yeah, I've heard Joe is, like, a huge badass. And I'm like, okay, I'm playing it. I'm thinking like we're gonna be playing like a cool stealth, like like a survival guy. You stealth around, you shoot things from a distance, you kill things with your knife. You're a cool, sneaky stealth survival guy.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting like, okay, we're gonna get like a big shotgun, we're gonna get like a bow and arrow or something, and he's gonna be doing like knife shit, and he's gonna be like, it's gonna be a bit more like offensive based, but like. Yeah, it's going to be, like, takedowns and hunting stuff. And then it's like...
Yeah, because you're, like, a hunter. Like, that's what Joe does.
Yeah.
No, fuck you.
No, Joe is a brawler. Joe is a barbarian.
Joe is a god. Like I said, Joe Baker has a poster on Dante's wall. Like, let's be real. He's so cool.
The only downside is that we could not suplex an alligator.
We never did get to suplex an alligator. Like
the
0 out of 10 worst DLC ever. I don't know, man.
It's like we're given all this strength, and like at no point do we get to punch an alligator because like they're instant kills. Like if you get near an alligator, it's gonna bite you and kill you.
Yeah.
Like we have to throw the spears, and like, man, can I like use the AMG to fucking punch?
What?
Wait, because you get the AMG to start in New Game Plus. What if you can punch gators with it?
Oh my god, we'll have to test it. We didn't get a chance to test New Game Plus because we were exhausted. But we will have to test New Game Plus.
You are, like, just talk real quick, the New Game Plus rewards are like, yeah, here's a shotgun. Here is the AMG at the start of the game.
You can unlock a shotgun. You get the shotty, you get the AMG, and you can unlock something called the Spirit Blade. Excuse the shit out of me. What is that?
I need to find out what that is.
What is that, Capcom? A Spirit Blade? What game am I playing? So yeah, no, I want to play it again. I want to try Joe Must Die mode.
Speaking of Devil May Cry, like, I love that, like, I just, like, in Capcom in general, like, I love that Blank Must Die.
Yeah, it's become the de facto now.
Yeah, like, the de facto, like, extra hard mode, because, yeah, there was Ethan Must Die as DLC in the base game, and now we have Joe Must Die, and, yeah, I would love to see that continue on. Okay, so what I read, though, is that in Ethan Must Die...
Yeah.
In the base game, the sky turns red.
Yes, I watched the best friends play some of it. The sky turns red, and where you are dropped is randomized. Like, everything is randomized. You don't start the game at the beginning of the game.
Oh.
You start the game at just a random point, and you have to, like, look for like, stuff laying around. It's not like... And I think it's just a survive as long as possible kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool as hell.
It's amazing. I watched some of the best friends play it, and it is, like, the most absurd thing ever. It's great. So, yeah. I would like to play the other RE7 DLC, but they don't really kind of... They're not as substantial. We probably won't do a podcast about it.
Yeah.
Mostly because Joe must... Just because
Joe is
cool.
fucking the cool. Like, the other ones are really cool. Like, there's the
Blackjack.
The blackjack one, they're mostly more like puzzles. There's the one where you're trapped tied to the bed.
Yeah.
And you have to, like, get out without let Marguerite notice that you've gotten out.
Yeah, I watched a little of that, and it gave me a heart attack.
There's the Jack's 55th birthday.
Yeah, which is another, like, jokey joke one.
Yeah. And there's the Zoe one.
Daughters. But it's really, really short. I mean, like, less than an hour kind of thing. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, like, it's... I also really like that, the end of Zoe is a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. It was really more like you get to save Zoe, and that's good. But this does bring me back to a point I was kind of insinuating at the beginning of this thing. Zoe Baker without, like, any dirt on her face or, like, up close is bad.
It's a bad look, and they kind of disguised it by, like, kind of keeping her a little bit at a distance when she was kind of finally cured. But then she got close on her phone call with Ethan, and you're like, oh.
Yikes! No, don't do that.
Fix it.
Do that. Fix it, because her face is like the... And it's not that she's ugly. It's really more so that the textures on her face are, like, bad and potato-y and unnatural.
It's not that she's, like... It's not like she's, like, the face model they use is an ugly person. It's just that, like, it didn't one-to-one translate that well.
It's major uncanny valley.
Yeah, it's a little bit off-putting, but, like, because, like, from the first thing is that, like, I was like, oh, shit, the thing's gonna fail because, like, it's been too long since she got the dose and it's not gonna work, or, like, she's gonna get, like, a last word with Joe and then die. Yeah. It's like, oh, she's actually getting better. Okay, cool. And
she's fine.
And then the Umbrella agents burst in and you're like, oh, no, don't shoot her. Please don't
shoot them. I was so worried both of them were gonna get shot.
And then Chris is like, wait, I recognize a fellow badass in here.
You are a man that suplexes Swamp Things. I am a man. It should have been the moment in Full Metal Alchemist. It should have been a friendship forged in muscles, damn it!
I was, like, waiting for, like, fucking, like, for Chris and Joe to be like, Joe Baker, you son of a bitch! And they just bicep clap.
Do that! Oh my god! It should have just been like manly nod of acknowledgement, just like silent nods of like, yeah, just we like, are badasses.
I see you also can haymaker zombies.
It's fine.
I really, really hope that
Joe comes back.
All of them. I want Ethan, Mia, Zoe, and Joe to be in RE8. Like, I want them to become, like, fixtures to the series because, like, for one thing, we don't have... The cool thing about, like, Ethan, Mia, and Zoe is that, like... Well, I don't know for Zoe for sure, but, like, with Ethan and Mia, they both mentioned, like, hey, yeah, the fungus is still in them. It's just dormant now. Like, we've got it under control. So it's like, man, you could maybe do, like, a regenerative gameplay thing with, like, an infected protagonist who, like... can use
really
it.
Cool.
Like, I think in RE6 there's a character, like, because in RE6 you can play as Wesker's son.
Yeah.
And I think he's got some, like, rudimentary, like, flash step and, like, punch stuff,
Yeah. Okay.
Like, hey, it would be pretty cool though to keep that going and have, like, a character who, like, can regenerate and, can do, cool badass stuff like that. Like,
that would be pretty cool.
Get Joe a fucking Umbrella membership, get him on the team.
just sick Joe on things. Be like, you're like a cutscene starts and it's like 12 hours since Outbreak, and then you just hear over the intercom like, we're sending in Baker, Baker on the ground, and then it just hard cuts to Joe getting off like a helicopter. He's still dressed like a hillbilly. And he's like, let's rock, motherfucker.
Well, the thing where it's like Hunk's whole deal is that, like, he's like the only survivor and, like, he's like literally he's like a golem. Like, I want, like, a DLC thing to start where it's like it's Hunk, like, going around, like, and he's like disposing of zombies, like, on his own, and Joe just comes and, like, pushes him aside.
Oh my god.
I want RE8 to be like RE6. RE6 was like Leon, Chris, Sherry and all
the whole
them.
Crew, like, the whole crew.
Yeah, the whole gang was back together. I want RE8 to be like fucking like Ashley, Sheva, Ethan, Zoe, Mia, and Joe.
All the characters that got slept on in 6, bring them back and put them in 8.
Yeah.
Please. I would love to see Ashley come back. Are you kidding me?
Fucking, put, Claire got Revelation 2, but, like, what's her name? Rebecca Chambers?
Yeah!
And who was the other one in 0? The convict guy.
Billy something.
Billy,
right?
It was Billy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring Billy back. Like,
oh my god, the tattooed guy. Bring him back. Sure, let him be jacked as fuck, Capcom, and let him keep his cool tattoos, and he can just be like the cool badass guy. Come on. Yeah, I want that really badly.
I want RE8 to be like everyone that's been like missing in action.
Yeah, I want that really badly. I just really, really enjoyed RE7, and I want more of that. So, yeah, so far. So, hey, we're done with Resident Evil 7. It's finally over. We did good.
Yeah, we nailed it. We got all the cool we got the big spooks from the base game. We got the fucking good old RE sci-fi schlock and Not a Hero and End of Zoe. Like, it was
It was good.
It was a full package.
Well, you get everything you need for... Oh, I think I bet there's some kind of, like special edition now where you can get all of the DLC for $60. Like the game and all the DLC for $60, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
It's totally worth your time. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's fucking... it's great. You will be legitimately terrified, and then you'll be, like, get the catharsis of fucking murdering and shooting everything.
It is deep emotional release after being scared for like 12 hours. It's great. It is honestly great. I wish the move system for like the 2 Victory Lap DLCs had been a little bit more robust, but otherwise, man, fuck it. It's fun. Yeah. So that's it.
All right, so that'll do it for us then.
Hey, we did another short episode. Look at us.
We did. Good for us. Thanks to Broke Free for background music. You can follow us on Twitter at The Gorge Podcast. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want another cool, kind of stealthy, fun action series, you can listen to Sarah's other podcast.
You are making these up on the fly, and I'm very impressed that you keep doing it, man. And I'll stop commenting on it one day, but I'm always just like, Ben's got another one up his sleeve. Shit. Hey, I'm in another podcast. It's called Big Gay Nerds. It's an LGBT tabletop RPG game where me and a bunch of cool queer friends sit around and we play games together. Right now we're playing Blades in the Dark. It's kind of like Tabletop Dishonored. Kind of a vaguely diesel punk 1800s stealth-based game centered around stealing shit. It rules. It is probably my favorite system right now. You should come listen to us. We all do terrible accents. Every single one of us. We all do horrible accents in Blades in the Dark. I do British. One friend does Russian. Oates talks like Vincent Price. And Owen has a bad German accent. We suck. It's awesome. You should come listen to us. We're at Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can find the links to all of our social media from there. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us.
Fuck the Molded. They are the worst Resident Evil monster design ever, and I swear to God, if they come back in 8, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, fuck the Molded. They suck.
The Molded suck. They are not nearly as cool as, like, an actual zombie or
all
anything.
of their designs are, like, they look super samey. They're not scary. They're not fun. They don't have any personality. They're just kind of there to break up the monotony between, like, really good boss fights. Yeah. So fuck the Molded. Bring back zombies for RE8.
All right. Good night, everyone.